At 3:47 a.m., the kitchen oven clicked on by itself. I heard the hum and knew something was terribly wrong. The thing I found inside would change everything. James was a graphic designer, a quiet man who loved sketching at night. He lived with his girlfriend, Steph, a painter whose smile could light a room. They had just celebrated their 3rd anniversary when doctors delivered the diagnosis, early-onset dementia. Steve's memory slipped like sand through her fingers, but her promise to James was clear: she would never leave him. None of that mattered after the night of October 12. The setup their apartment was a modest 2-bedroom on the 3rd floor, walls painted a soft gray. Evenings smelled of cinnamon from Steph's tea, the soft click of the radiator, and the faint scent of fresh paint. James would come home at 6, drop his keys in the bowl, and start dinner while Steph curled up on the couch, scrolling through her phone. Breath. First contact. At first the forgetfulness was small. Steph asked James the same question about the grocery list 3 times in an hour. She misplaced her glasses on the nightstand, then on the kitchen counter, then in the bathroom. When she stared at the ceiling for 10 minutes, unable to recall why she was there, James convinced her to see a neurologist. Breath. Escalation. The first incident a week later, Steph sent a text, "Come upstairs." James turned off the stove, wiped his hands, and climbed the hallway. The bedroom was empty. He called her name, checked under the bed, opened the closet, nothing. His phone showed her location a few feet away, right above him. He froze. The stovetop was on again. He remembered turning it off. He called out, "Steph," but the house answered only with the whir of the refrigerator. He opened the kitchen cabinet by the sink, expecting a phone. There, crammed in the narrow space, was Steph. Her limbs twisted at impossible angles, her body folded like a pretzel. She breathed out, "Hi, James," with a grin that didn't reach her glassy eyes. She fit inside the cabinet as if it were a glove. He lifted her slowly, feeling her bones crack like old twigs. She didn't scream. She didn't wince. She asked, "What's for dinner?" as if nothing had happened. But it gets worse. Escalation. The oven hideaway 2 weeks later, James was reading on the porch while Steph sipped lemonade. She vanished without a word. A text pinged, "Come find me." His heart thudded, remembering the cabinet. He searched the house closets, under the bed, the laundry room. A giggle echoed from the kitchen. The oven door was ajar, heat seeping into the hallway. He flung it open. Steve's body was tangled inside, limbs folded around the metal racks. The oven's interior was a grotesque sculpture of her twisted form. She smiled, saying, "You found me." And then he pulled her out, feeling the metal scorch his fingers. Her eyes stared ahead, empty of panic. She asked, "Can we eat now?" Escalation. The vents and the chimney after that. Steph's disappearances grew more frequent. She slipped into the dryer, crawled into the attic vents, even tried to climb into the washing machine. Each time James rescued her, each time her body contorted beyond any human possibility. One humid summer night, Steph sent another text, "Come find me." James sprinted through the dark house, his pulse echoing in his ears. The living room reeked of rot, a foul stench rising from the fireplace. He followed the smell up the stairs to the attic. There, the chimney flue glowed faintly with ember light. Inside, Steph's form was knotted among the soot, her limbs fused into the narrow shaft. He froze, breath catching in his throat. She looked at him, a small smile curving her lips. "You're always finding me," she whispered. The reveal James called Dr. Yoshihara, his voice shaking. The doctor listened, then said, "James, these behaviors are beyond typical dementia. We need a full neuropsychological evaluation, possibly a scan for structural anomalies." James hung up, staring at the twisted silhouette of Steph in the chimney. He realized the disease had not just stolen memories, it had warped reality itself. Steph seemed to seek the smallest spaces, as if the world were shrinking around her. But it gets worse. Confrontation, the final choice the next day. The doctor suggested assisted living, a place with constant supervision. James felt the weight of his promise crushing his chest. He remembered Steph's fear of being taken away, her whispered plea to stay at home forever. He chose to stay, to watch every corner, to keep her from the dangerous hideaways. He installed cameras, locked doors, set up motion sensors. Yet, each night, a new text arrived, "Come find me." He never knew where she would appear next. The house became a maze of fear, each creak a potential trap. James still lives in the apartment, the lights flickering as he watches the hallway. Sometimes he hears a faint giggle from the kitchen, sometimes the oven clicks on by itself. He has learned to expect the impossible, to brace for the next twisted reveal. Friends who hear his story say they feel a chill when they think of a loved one disappearing into a cabinet. What do you think really happened to Steph? Leave your theory in the comments. If you want more stories that will keep you up at night, check out Audible's horror collection. Get 30 days free and dive into terrifying audiobooks that make this tale feel tame. https www.audible.com free trial. Subscribe for a new nightmare each week and keep the lights on. What do you think was really behind Steph's disappearances? Share your thoughts below, and save this so you don't forget the night the oven clicked on by itself.